Ah, my Windows Phone family, how have you been? I know it's been some time. It's not for a lack of desire to do Windows Phone content. It just feels like at this point we're whistling past the graveyard. And there's a couple different things going on, just kind of converging on our beloved Windows Phone. The first bit is the first-party software stuff shutting down. We're going to talk about Microsoft To Do in a moment. But it seems like whenever they remember something is still working on Windows Phone, they're like, hey Jimmy, why is this thing still on? Go ahead, shut this down. So the sign-on slowly went away when it came to Windows 8.1. You could still get into most stuff on Windows 10, but it feels like even those integrations are slowly going away. Microsoft To Do, OneNote at some point. I think they announced OneDrive not being, it's going to be close to the end of life, if not already there, to where you could sign on, transfer stuff back and forth. Microsoft Edge is slowly becoming more and more obsolete with each passing day, which also becomes a challenge. The other thing is that the web apps that we were using for stuff on Windows Phone that made it livable, they're now being used by other devices. So the web apps aren't exclusive to Windows Phone anymore. That's not the target market. So as they make them more complex and more robust, they don't work as well anymore, if at all, on our beloved Windows phones. There's a couple different things going on, but if you really wanted to make it work and your carrier supports it and all the rest of it, you still absolutely can make it work on Windows Phone and actually have an enjoyable experience. And that's what makes it all the more painful going back and using it. Today, of course, we're using our Lumia 930. I think that's a good middle ground at this point. Powerful enough to get the job done. But that's what makes it that much more depressing going back and using Windows Phone, because you love the live tiles, you love the keyboard, the OLED panel way ahead of their time. Just so many great features and the usability of it, and the fact that you're just like, why couldn't this have survived? Why didn't anybody pick up on some of these things and run with them in 2022? Because these are still valuable features that we'd enjoy having in a phone today. Just a little something different wouldn't kill people. All right, first app that I always talk about, and I will absolutely talk about it until basically the end of me doing these videos on Windows Phone. MyTube. Pay the person, whoever it is, their $1.99. They even have the donation here. Donate. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I do that afterwards. This is by far the best third-party app, and certainly the best YouTube app that I've used on Windows Phone. This is, if Windows Phone had continued from 2016, 2015, all the way through to 2022, I have to envision this is what a first-party or native YouTube app would look like. The integration is perfect, it's flawless, it's great to watch content on, it does it in high resolution, and it fits in perfectly with the rest of the OS. MyTube should be your only choice for YouTube on your Windows Phone. Bunch of people asked about Deezer. I was able to get it working. I was not able to sign up for a Deezer account through the phone itself. So if you try to sign up with your Google or Facebook account through the phone, it doesn't work. It delivers back an error. But if you go on the Deezer website, which you can do, set up your account there. I would personally not set it up with Google or Facebook. Go ahead, get yourself a Deezer username and password. You're able to log in. It has your Deezer flow, whatever they call it, and the music plays, and it works just fine with a connection. It's actually not a bad interface. It integrates well, and you can listen to music that way. A lot of people asked about it. Yes, it does work, and it does work fine. I'm not going to pull it up because, like I've said before, it uses real names. Light Social is still going to be, and still runs well, still your best option as far as Facebook and Facebook Messenger both work just fine. Light Social, I believe. I knew there were a couple other options, but to me, Light Social is the #1 option. Web apps still work, okay? So you still got the pin, the start tile that I pin from Microsoft Edge for the web application. Instagram is one of them. It will give you the compatibility stuff with Microsoft Edge, but once it does that, takes a moment. See, web browser is no longer supported, but it works just fine. You could get through everything. You could see your messages. You could see you can like stuff. Double tap for like, it works. It takes a second to load up, but once it does, you're going to get a relatively full Instagram experience. And I do believe, at least the last time I used it, stories were working properly. It takes a moment, but yeah, they're working just fine. You pull it up, you're going to get stories. So you get a pretty full-bodied Instagram experience. Telegram, I was using Unigram. I know there was another one. I never really had a whole heck of a lot of luck with it. I know a lot of people had luck with Unigram or Telegram X. I forget which one people said, but leave that link, or not link, leave the comment below to tell me which one that you used and had the best luck with. Twitter, it was one of the first web applications. In fact, it turned just a regular app into a web application, and it still is one of the best. It pulls up, no problem whatsoever. You know, Dr. Disrespect there. You could like, you could tweet, you could do. It's going to refresh here in a moment. But it's, like I said, you're taking a second now. All right, you're not getting exactly speedy performance, but you can get everything, and in a form that's relatively acceptable. It's good. It takes a few moments, but you're able to do it. You're able to do it. You're able to scroll, see all your tweets, tweet back out, and you're not going to have much of an issue there. Maps, Google Maps works fine. It's also a web application. I have the link here, so you can pull that up. The regular Maps one works as well. So you could just pull up Maps that was on here. And I'll tell you what, if you have Here Maps on Windows 8.1 through AT&T, Here Maps was still getting updated. In fact, I used it over the summer on my Lumia 1020, so you really shouldn't have much of an issue there. OneNote, still getting updated. You can still go back and forth between your notebooks. Let's go ahead and pull that up. So OneNote, for right now, at least from what I understand, not going to be an issue. Was using it earlier. Have some stuff on here. I'm able to go back. Different videos that I had put notes on for. S22 Ultra video. And it has the notes that I had scribbled on the Microsoft Surface Duo. The stuff I had scribbled on the note in here. So no integration, no problems with integration, no problems with refreshing back and forth. I was able to use OneNote just fine. The thing is that the Microsoft Store is extremely tough to navigate when you're just looking for mobile stuff, because even if you put a filter that you just want mobile applications, a lot of times it will download stuff. Now you get that little yellow triangle that'll tell you it's not compatible with your device, but you'll put in a filter by mobile and you'd expect only stuff that can work on mobile, and it's not the case because they count a few different devices as mobile now, and some of those ARM devices as well, and it just doesn't work all of the time when it comes to stuff in the store that you filter by mobile. You could download it and you're going to be disappointed. A lot of it doesn't work. But Live Tiles, you can still work. See, the news one, it was filtering back and forth. Some of them don't work as well anymore, but the photos one does, the news one, it still feels alive. Xbox Console Companion works as it should. You get everybody's achievements. You can message people back and forth. You can see your friends online, which is quite nice. Microsoft To Do is one of the first casualties. You can still use it locally on the device. It's not going to be a problem with that, but you're not going to get the synchronization across platforms anymore. If you put something on your desktop in your to-do list, it's not going to sync down into your Windows Phone anymore, which is kind of sad because that's like such a simple integration. Was that really the one that needed to go? Was that the one that was breaking the camel's back? You couldn't have those 3 bytes of data going through to update a to-do list? That's what we had to turn off, but that's one that was turned off. I want to load this up because I think someone had mentioned this in the comment. I meant to go back and look, but I remember somebody saying, I remember when this first came out, putting this on my Lumia 1020, but you have the DOS emulator, if you can even call it that, because you could type in a command. Right, you can type in, directory. Go ahead and you can get the directory and it works fine. Of course, you can type in Win. Okay, and you pull up Windows 3.1, which was so cool when it came out. So cool when it came out. And you get that, you get the little success sound. You could go to mail, you could go to internet, which I think had a dial-up thing or different maps and stuff. So this was really cool. If you're a 90s child, you remember the fun of both DOS and having to boot into DOS, then booting into Windows 3.1. Games, the ones that worked before are going to work now. There was I think Connectimals I did last time, and some other ones. There is a version, I believe, of Minecraft that will work on this. Red Planet still works fine. That was it. It was your Reddit client. No issues there. It takes a second to load up, but once you do, you could go through your different feeds and subreddits and all the rest of it. I think that was Red Planet that I was using. Yeah, there you go. It took a minute, but you got to have patience with this stuff. It takes a minute. Comes up. Outlook Mail, still worked fine. Excel, still worked fine. It pulled up stuff. Word, still worked fine. So a lot of the first-party stuff is still working well. GroupMe works. Viber should work. I wasn't able to get it because I wasn't able to get it activated, but Viber should work. It tells you to put a number in because I know people ask about Viber. But GroupMe, still fantastic. Absolutely love using it. Connects across multiple different platforms, and you're not going to have an issue there. Just super fun to use. I love using groups on GroupMe. Enough people don't use GroupMe. I like it better than WhatsApp in a lot of different functions, and just nobody uses it. Overall, like I said, if you have connectivity, in the United States it gets tough, but around the world they're still supporting 2G and 3G. If you're able to use it, especially on Windows 10, you're still getting that OLED display, you're still getting great battery life, you're still getting powerful enough performance, because the great thing about Windows Phone is it didn't require a lot. It was really well optimized, both with battery life and power. You didn't need a whole ton to run this interface and have a great user experience, a great typing experience. Still second to none. Still second to none typing experience. The best on-screen keyboard there is right here for messaging. And when I was just typing out a couple of emails on this earlier and just doing some simple Google searches, it was a pleasure. And it pains me going back to other on-screen keyboards when I know something like this existed in the past and just has not been carried forward. Super disappointing. Let me know what your experiences have been with Windows Phone in the past few months. If you've been experiencing shutdowns on certain apps, what your favorite apps are that are still going alive and well. We're going to keep doing them. You know, I promise Windows Phone's videos as long as we can go. I love them. They were great. There still can be great devices if you know how to use them. Just even for like simple companion devices, you know, just Wi-Fi stuff at this point. Just have one around the house and you'll absolutely wonder why. We got the crying squishable here. You actually wonder why it didn't carry on. Long Island Watch, longislandwatch.com. Go ahead, link will be in the description. Pick up this. Look at this wonderful maroon color. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-alicious day.